many of you know, I have flown a lot of times, and I've often looked out the window and thought, what would happen if there was an emergency? Now, I would always get Sean to carry me, and I'm sure he would just take me off. But if I was travelling on my own, what would I do? I can't walk, I can't run off the aeroplane just like everybody else. Well, hopefully none of us will ever find ourselves in that situation. However, today I'm really excited to be sharing with you a product called the Adapt's Portable Transfer Sling, which can be used for emergencies, but can also be used in everyday life situations as well to make transferring so much easier. So what is it, I hear you cry? Here it is in all its yellow, sunny, heavenly glory. This is the award-winning Portable Adapt's Transfer Sling, and it was invented by a flight attendant who realised on her way back from a flight that there was no real emergency evacuation plan for disabled passengers. The current protocol is for disabled passengers to sit in their seat and wait while everyone evacuates the plane, and then the cabin crew will come back to help the disabled passenger. But can you imagine sat there, the cabin's filling up with acrid smoke, and you've approximately got 90 seconds to evacuate the aircraft? How scary must that feel? Just for complete transparency, this transfer sling has been gifted to me, and what's even more exciting is that in a couple of weeks' time I am going to be flying to America all on my own, and I feel a little less stressed and a little bit more at ease knowing that I have got this transfer sling in the event of an emergency. So if you want to know where I'm travelling to, then make sure you subscribe, because in next week's video I'm going to be revealing where I'm going and what I'm doing, and let me tell you, it is so exciting. And I'm hopefully going to be meeting some of you as well, so there's a bit of a clue for you. So how does it work? Well, the Adapt's Transfer Sling sits on your airplane seat, and then in the event of an emergency, 2 passengers or flight crew grab the top handles and the bottom handles and quickly and safely evacuate the disabled passenger. You can just scoop the person up, there's no pain. I found it very painless and very easy to use. It involves little to no training. Listen to what one of the stewards had to say at Bournemouth Air Museum. So Clive, we've just done a little simulation of how the evac sling works, and how did you find it?
I found it very easy, and I say, and I'm not a young man, but no, it went like clockwork. Excellent, no, really first class.
And you didn't really have any training or anything?
None whatsoever. No. I mean, I was just asked to get hold of 2 handles and lift, and that's exactly what I did. But it was just so simple. It really was.
You just pretty much turn to the person next to you or the flight attendants and say, you know, in the event of an emergency, just scoop me up and we can get out of here. The Adapt's Transfer Sling actually holds up to 450 pounds in weight, and it's pretty much a one-size-fits-all kind of joey. There are 6 handles on the Adapt's Transfer Sling as well, so if need be and more people needed to get involved in helping transfer a certain person, then that can be used as well. There's also a head and neck support if there was someone who couldn't support their own head or neck, and that is very easy to use as demonstrated here. Now, if you think about it, if you're trying to evacuate someone who has any sort of limb loss or limb difference, or is even wearing a prosthetic, transferring them under the limbs can actually be quite dangerous. The prosthesis could fall off potentially, or you could cause harm. But with the Adapt's Transfer Sling, that problem is completely eliminated. As you can see, the Adapt's Transfer Sling kind of all folds up on itself into a handy little bag, and there are also these lovely luggage labels that come with the Adapt's Transfer Sling. These are great, and I actually put these on my wheelchair and on all of my luggage as well, because they're nice and bright, and it also alerts the baggage handlers that you have a disability as well. So I've got one on my wheelchair, and I took these to Florida. I also used the Adapt's Transfer Sling on our flight to and from Florida as well. The sling is incredibly light and can just fit into any of your hand luggage. It pretty much weighs just a couple of grams. It's fire retardant and it's also water resistant as well. It's this bright yellow colour, which is great in the event of an emergency because it makes it very, very visible from anyone searching for passengers. Also, what I like about it, and I know some people may feel a little bit different about it, is when I was sat on my seat on the aircraft, people could tell and knew that I had a disability. Whereas before, when I've been sat on flights to and from wherever I'm going, no one knew that I had a disability, and I've actually been injured by some passengers who've just been so eager to get off the flight. They've literally climbed over me, kicked me, and really just had no care in the world. Having that sort of alerts the crew and other passengers around you that you may need extra time and that you may not be able to move in the way that other passengers can. The Adapt's transfer slings are very inexpensive. They are about $149, which is roughly £121. But you can't really put a cost on your life. So make sure you check in the description box because they have left a code in there where you can get up to 15% off. Now, I did mention that the Adapt's transfer sling can be used in everyday life as well for people who can't transfer as easily as others. So for example, Joe's Trust, which is a cancer charity, have recently done some research into the fact that women are missing out on their cervical screening because it is not accessible. There's no way for them to transfer onto the bed. Using one of these transfer slings can eliminate that issue completely. And unfortunately, I don't have any of the figures, but Joe's Trust are actually working on how many women miss out on their cervical screenings every year. But you can use these transfer slings. All you need is 2 nurses who are able to transfer you onto the bed. They can also be used in the doctor's surgeries, and they can be used in swimming pools as well. How inaccessible can swimming pools be, or water parks? They can also be used at the dentist. What about children who have got just that little bit too big for you to lift to transfer? You can use these slings on children as well, so they make it a lot easier to transfer them in and out of bed, for example. These slings can be used in nursing homes. I remember my dear grandmother, who sadly suffered from Parkinson's disease. She used to have to wait for ages for nurses to come along to get the hoist, and if the hoist was being used by other patients, it could take up to hours just for her to be transferred out of her bed and into her chair. But by having one of these transfer slings, it's so easy. You can just lay a patient on the transfer sling and transfer them into their electric chair. Another really good idea for these transfer slings is to have them in hotels, on cruise liners, in office buildings, anywhere like that. I know that I'm going to America soon and I'm going to be on my own. Now, in the event of an emergency, you are unable to use the lift. So how do I get down the stairs in my wheelchair? What if there are 10 other people on the same floor as me with disabilities who need to use an evacuation chair? If you don't know what an evacuation chair is, it is a chair that can be used to evacuate a person down a flight of stairs. Going down is not so bad, but taking an evacuation chair back up takes a lot of time and energy. But having a transfer sling weighing almost nothing, you know, is going to make evacuation so much quicker, more efficient and easier to do. What's also really good about them is that they can be used in narrow, tight spaces and narrow corridors where perhaps a stretcher couldn't actually get round sort of tight right angles. So that's something very important to bear in mind, especially in the event of an evacuation. An emergency evacuation is something that we don't really like to think about, but in the event of an emergency, speed and efficiency is crucial to getting out alive, and sometimes it can be a matter of life and death. I would love to see these transfer slings issued as standard in all public places, arenas, cruise ships, hotels, offices, you name it. They're so much more inexpensive than an evacuation chair, as I've said. And also, sadly, we live in a time when we do have bombings. I was in England when the Manchester bombings took place. I remember the London Bridge attack taking place and how scary and frightening that must have been. And imagine having a disability and not being able to move, or even having your wheelchair damaged in a bombing. So, you know, having these transfer slings could really take a weight off your mind. I'd love to know what you think of these transfer slings. Would you give them a go? Have you given one a go? Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for your support, and don't forget to check all of the information in the description box, and I look forward to seeing you in my next very exciting video. Bye!